Good afternoon, traders. It is Friday, June 13th, 2014. U.S. stock market is closed. You know, I felt we had a pretty good day today. We had negative $5,000 coming into today, and I was a little bit worried about that. Because when we have negative 5 coming in, usually what happens, we end up closing out negative 10 or something like that, or even worse. So I was a little bit jumpy about this morning. Market opens up, and I look down at the equity, and we're carrying like positive 3,000, positive 4,000. So right on the open, we went from being negative 5 grand to being positive 3 or 4. That's a, you know, an equity swing is $7,000-8,000. That's really look good. Anyway, and I kept watching the equity throughout the day, and it basically kept getting bigger and bigger. I didn't pay too much attention to what we were getting out of, though. And at one point, I think our open trade was up to over $12,000. That really looked good. But when I did the statistics after the market closed, I realized we didn't do quite as good as I would have liked to. Now, we really didn't lose money today, but it wasn't quite as good. We got stopped out pretty bad on about 4 markets right at, you know, within the first 15 minutes. One of these was in Palo Alto Networks. That took us down for about 3,000, and then Prothena Corporation took out another 2,000. And Prothena went from like positive to negative 2,000 within 15 minutes right after the open. So anyway, bottom line is when I did everything, we closed out negative $7,000 on our closed out trades. But what's good is we are carrying positive $10,000 over the weekend and into Monday. So, you know, if we got positive $10,000, we can absorb a closeout trade of $7,000 without too much trouble. But nevertheless, that wasn't quite as good as it looked to me as I was just casually observing the screens in the markets today. Anyway, Dow did close up positive 41. Again, I really felt after our 2 big down days, this market could not go down a third day, and it did not. But we didn't have a really super great day either, but we had one good trade. I'll show you that really good trade. Just one thing happened after the markets. I don't think this news was out while the markets were still open. Russia moved 3 obsolete tanks into Ukraine after the markets closed. Now, obviously, if Russia's going to invade Ukraine, they're not going to do it with 3 obsolete tanks. But the markets can be really schizophrenic about this stuff, and they can get very nervous. And I remember a while back, you know, there was some negative Ukrainian news out over the weekend that really crashed the market on Monday. So I'm just hoping that the world realizes that Ukraine cannot be invaded with 3 obsolete Russian tanks. Anyway, let's take a look at the markets. Or let's take a look at
Okay, here we got the Dow, and you know, you can see the big slide. These 2 days, Dow dropped over 200 points, and it did do a little bit of recovery today, closing up 41. Had a little bounce there. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't think today really proves too much. I still think overall the market could go up, but as I say, if the world reacts to 3 obsolete Russian tanks going into Ukraine, this market could tank on Monday, let's face it. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I want to show you 2 really nice markets today for us. And excuse me a second here. Here we go. Okay. This first one is in Walter Energy. We haven't done too much with this for a while, but we got into this thing about halfway through the day, and it pretty much kept going and showed a little rally there at the close that I like, so it's closing fairly close to its high. We're holding over $2,000 in Walter Energy. Now I'll show you the one that was just a real mind blower. This is Yelp, and we had bought this yesterday on a pop-up here, and then it faded, and we've been getting some bad trades in Yelp. And so when I saw this thing coming down yesterday, I thought, here we go again, another faded Yelp trade. And this morning, this thing goes out. Look what happens here. We get this massive gap up in Yelp. It held real strong. No attempts here to fill the gap, and it closes, you know, pretty darn close to its high. We're holding over $7,000 in Yelp. So this is just a great trade, and this is what really kept us above water today. We might have had a little trouble if it hadn't been for Yelp. So Yelp for Yelp. Anyway, not a bad day. This is Trader Bob signing off. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.